Hey, y'all. Welcome to the CPA Exam series of the WERKin Mommas podcast. I'm Nikki. Thank you for tapping in and supporting this podcast and all of my CPA exam content. The WERKin Mommas podcast was originally all about my frolics and frustrations of being a mama to two growing kids. But like most moms out here, there's other hats that I wear. I'm a CPA, I work in corporate America, I run my own businesses. And so I wanted to have conversations about the CPA exam for candidates, talk about business and tax tips for entrepreneurs, share career advice from my perspective as a Black girl working in an industry where I'm part of the 1% and not in a good way. And of course, getting real about money and credit and unlearning some of the things that we as Black kids saw and adopted as the truth. So, my podcast is a labor of love for me. I enjoy sharing CPA exam tips and tricks and all that I went through with the exam in hopes that my experiences will inspire you to keep going, no matter how hard or how impossible this journey seems right now. I'm here to tell you it is so worth all of the stress and frustration that you may be feeling. There's lots more CPA exam coaching, practice exams, simulations, tutorials online at winstoncpagroup.com/CPA exam. There's a virtual classroom where you can access all of my content, my notes, my tutorials, these premium podcast episodes, and more in the virtual classroom. Check it out online. I also post CPA exam tips on LinkedIn, so make sure we're connected over there. And as you listen to this episode, if something resonates with you or is super helpful to you, let your networks know that you're tuned in to this exclusive CPA exam series of the WERKin Mommas podcast. Feel free to share on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook and tag me at Nick Winston CPA. So let's jump into this episode. My struggles with the CPA exam manifested into the only Black owned and woman owned CPA exam review course designed to prepare candidates for both the CPA exam and their accounting careers once they receive their license. Do you love this content? Well, help create more of it. Support this podcast and the CPA exam virtual classroom at buymeacoffee.com/Nick Winston CPA. When you go to the site, click on the support button, and from there, you can buy as many cups of coffee or tea as you like. And feel free to leave a comment and tell me what you like most about the WERKin Mommas podcast. Head over to buymeacoffee.com/Nick Winston CPA and help create more of the content you love. Hey, y'all. It's Nikki. Welcome to another episode of the WERKin Mommas podcast. Just super excited to be putting out another episode. I've kind of been delayed. I guess I could actually call this one of my traffic take episodes because I'm recording this as I am getting out of traffic for a couple of reasons. First, my podcast microphone has been out of commission because I think I told y'all my son likes to use my podcast microphone for playing the game online with his friends. I'm not exactly sure what they are doing, but he broke my charger. So I had to come and find a replacement charger so that I can record more episodes. But I didn't want that to stop me from putting out an episode for y'all, especially this quick little thing I just wanted to share, this point of advice I wanted to share for CPA exam candidates. Just for those of you who are not CPA exam candidates, I have some other episodes that I'm going to put out in the next couple weeks about small business accounting and taxes. I have a couple of career combos episodes that I need to put out answering some questions about career moves and changes and professionalism and all these other things. But what I've really been getting bombarded with the last few weeks are people saying, I don't know how to study for the exam. I need a game plan. I'm overwhelmed with the content. As soon as I read something, I forget what I read. And I just have to say that first and foremost, when it comes to getting prepared, before you even start jumping into different topics and doing practice questions, you have to have a game plan. And I know a lot of you study with the intent of scheduling your exam. You're going to study for a few weeks or a few months, and then you're going to schedule your exam. So you really don't have a hard deadline as far as when you're going to sit. And because of that, we tend to, and I say we because I did this a couple of times while I was studying, is that I felt like I'm going to go through all the material. I'm going to read. I'm going to watch the videos. I'm going to do some practice questions and some sims. And then when I feel like I'm ready, I'm going to schedule my exam. When really what you should be doing is getting your NTS, your notice to schedule, so that you can make sure you even have the option to sit, first of all, and then pick a date that's maybe 8 to 12 weeks out and give yourself that time to study and learn the content and to be able to do so with a firm deadline in mind. Because if you're studying just to study and you just want to learn and then you feel like, well, I'll schedule my exam when I feel ready, you're never really going to feel 100% ready. Out of the 13 exams I took, I maybe felt 100% ready on one or two of those. And those were retakes because I had already gone through the process before and failed or lost credit. And so the second or third, or in the case of reg, the fourth time around, I felt like I was ready. So the first thing you have to do is put yourself on a timeline. Get in the mindset of, okay, today is March 10th and I want to sit for my exam on May 10th. That's about 8 weeks from now. So now, between now and May 10th, I have 8 weeks, 7 or 8 weeks to get myself prepared. That is the first step in you really getting organized and putting some structure around your study habits. The other thing I'm hearing people say is, I don't understand. Even when I read a whole chapter, even when I watch the videos, I don't understand. And I feel weird turning and not having my turn signal on, but I didn't want the sound of my turn signal to come through on the episode. But anyway, y'all know I live this unedited life, so I'm going to just give it to y'all just like it is. So the other thing that people struggle with is, like, I don't know, I don't understand. And my thing is, work backwards. Work the opposite of what you've known to be the norm when it comes to studying. Most people feel like I have to read the chapters, then I have to watch the videos, and you have to do all these other things before you get to the practice questions. And for me, the practice questions are key. That is how you figure out what you need to be reading and what videos you need to be watching. And when I think about the CPA exam and studying and getting ready, now the traffic been quiet the whole ride. As soon as I start an episode, I get all these big trucks and all this hoopla going on. But anyway, when I think about studying for the CPA exam, the analogy I like to use is sports. And when you think about the practices and all the things that they're doing on the field, to get ready for the competition, to get better, to condition themselves, It's a lot of on the field work. They might sit and watch some film here and there, but for the most part, they are on the field. They are practicing. And I'll talk about FAR in particular because this must be the season of FAR. Like the majority of people I've talked to and most of the people who have enrolled in my CPA exam coaching program are all getting ready for FAR. And the thing with FAR is, if you have looked at the blueprint, if you've read it, you should have by now, that is really your study guide for FAR. That tells you what you need to be prepared to see in terms of testable content. So if you've looked at the blueprint, you will see that 80 to 90% of FAR is analysis and application. And it is difficult, damn near impossible, to be good at analysis and application if you're not analyzing something or applying something, which means you have to do something, not just read the questions. If you've listened to the other episodes in this CPA exam series about getting ready for the CPA exam, if you've seen my social media posts, you have heard me say, find a publicly traded company that you like, that is going to spark your interest, and use those financial statements to study for FAR. FAR stands for Financial Accounting and Reporting. And when a publicly traded company issues their financial statements, that's pretty much what they're doing. Financial accounting and reporting. So it's going to be tough, and it's going to feel like you don't understand or you're not learning anything if you are taking an exam that is heavily focused on analytics and applying what you've learned. It's going to be hard to master that if you're sitting at a computer and you're just reading or you're just listening. You have to get in tune with the simulations and really make sense of what's happening, so that when you get to the point where you've practiced 3 simulations and none of them make sense, at least you can go back and say, okay, here's where I'm struggling. Here's where the disconnect is. Here's where I'm not getting it. And I'm actually going to go home now that I have a charger for my podcast microphone, and I'm going to do a tutorial on bonds. And I guess I'm kind of the only person who gets excited to talk about bonds. I guess I'm officially an accounting nerd because I'm looking forward to recording this tutorial. But the other thing is, I spent 5 years of my career doing bond accounting and issuing debt and understanding that whole process of the coupon payments and capitalizing certain expenses and recording other ones to the P&L and creating amortization schedules and being cognizant of whether or not the bond was issued at par, at face value, or with a premium or a discount, because that changes how my journal entries are going to look. So that's probably where my excitement comes from, is that I learned bond accounting in practice, whereas most people are learning bond accounting through preparing for the CPA exam. So when it came time for me to sit for FAR, I passed FAR the first time. I didn't struggle too much with FAR because of the professional experience that I had. So I'm going to do this tutorial about bonds, what they are, the financial statement presentation, and probably going to do a screen share and show you some sample simulations and some ways that this can be thrown at you on the exam. Bond accounting is a heavily tested area on the exam. You can be asked random questions just about coupon payments and whether something is issued at a premium or a discount, and understanding the changes in the interest rates to help you figure out whether it's issued at a premium or a discount.
And really just once you can understand the accounting, the journal entries, you can really answer a lot of the questions, right? Because you're going to have to record the liability, the debt. You're going to have to record the proceeds or the cash that's received. And then the difference between those two is going to be your premium or your discount. And you can kind of look at the entry and say, what do I need to book a debit or a credit to balance the journal entry? And that will tell you whether or not it's a premium or it's a discount. So once you can make sense of those journal entries, a lot of the other things fall into place. So that's why I tell candidates, especially those studying for FAR, is to start with the practice first and write out those T accounts, write out those journal entries, get a piece of paper and create an amortization schedule. Because once you can put that together and you can understand what those things mean and how to interpret those, the rest of bond accounting is pretty straightforward. Understanding terms, the maturity date, it's the date that the bond matures. I mean, there's no rocket science behind that. The issuance date, the date that the bond is issued, the stated rate, the rate that's stated on the bond, the coupon rate, the market rate, the rate that's in the market. So, I mean, a lot of the things are overly complicated because candidates are just feeling so uneasy about the content. It's really not that difficult. It's really not that difficult, and I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm saying that as somebody who has done the FAR content in practice in a real corporate setting, but also as somebody who took FAR 3 times and somebody who enjoys talking about these things. So check out my Vivo and YouTube channels at Nick Winston CPA or Winston CPA Group. I don't know which one I set it up as, but I'm going to do a bond tutorial. If you need a tutorial on something else, I've heard people have come to me about questions on leases, lease accounting, the direct versus indirect method of statement of cash flows. I've seen some things about disclosures and contingent liabilities, so many different things. FAR has a ton of content, and as long as you can understand, in most cases, if you can write out the journal entries, if those journal entries make sense, then if you can talk through the journal entries, you pretty much have the concept nailed down. So if you don't, that's where I want to get y'all to. So again, stay tuned for the tutorial on bonds accounting, as well as some other topics that y'all need help with. If there's a specific topic that you're struggling with, let me know. Hit me on social media at Nick Winston CPA, and I am happy to put together a tutorial that will break down the content, make it make sense, and really help y'all get over the hump and be on your way to CPA. So, like I said, super short episode. I just had to say that since my podcast mic is kind of out of commission right now. And yeah, hit me up. Let me know what y'all want me to do a tutorial on, and I will do it. But until then, happy studying. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.
Thank you again for tuning in and rocking with me on another episode of the WERKin Mommas podcast. This podcast is the business plan for entrepreneurs, the how-to and WTF guide for busy moms, and the coattail pulling career advice that professionals need to win in the corporate world. I'm Nikki Winston. I am a mama. I'm a CPA and a career development expert who put all the what ifs aside and launched my podcast. Do you love this content? If so, I would love for you to help create more of it. Support the WERKin Mommas podcast at buymeacoffee.com/Nick Winston CPA. When you go to the site, click on the support button, and from there you can buy as many cups of coffee or tea as you like. And feel free to leave a comment while you're there. Tell me what you like the most about the WERKin Mommas podcast. head over to buymeacoffee.com/Nick Winston CPA and help create more of the content you love. If you're a CPA candidate, you can join the Winston CPA Exam virtual classroom online at winstoncpagroup.com/CPA Exam. Business owners, get answers to accounting and tax questions and how to form your LLC or corporation at winstoncpagroup.com/business. Are you a professional working in the corporate world? Well, there's career advice and tools that you need to elevate your leadership skills. Click on the career advice page of winstoncpagroup.com or go to winstoncpagroup.com/career advice. And of course, for the busy, overworked moms, there is a place where we understand your struggle. Join the WERKin Mommas community for cleaning hacks, quick meals that are nutritious and kid approved, and all things mom life at theworkinmommas.com. We also have a Pinterest board that's called Supercharged Self-Care that all the moms love. So check out our mom life tips over on Pinterest.com/theworkinmommas. And of course, if you are not already, you can follow me online on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter at Nick Winston CPA. Connect with the WERKin Mommas online at theworkinmommas.com, as well as on the Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn pages. Thank you again. It has been fun, and my podcast is a labor of love for me. So I appreciate every single solitary person who is tuning in, and I look forward to you coming back to rock with me on another episode of the WERKin Mommas podcast.